Hi, Abby. How are
Hi,
you?
Olena. Hi. Good.
How are you?
I good. I look forward to what we're gonna be talking about today.
I, to be honest, I'm a little bit scared because it is a big topic. It's not as exciting as the new AI features in Power Pages. I would say it's something fundamental and something which I cannot imagine any enterprise, any production portal surviving without. And this I don't know. So let me try to walk you through.
Mhm.
So let me share the screen as a start.
Sure, let's do that.
um okay. You actually see my screen,
Yeah,
right?
I can see a
Is it
list
big
of
enough?
companies.
It's
Yes.
not a
Oh
list
no.
of companies.
Oh, it's
It is.
pets. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let me this everything is wrong about my page. Let me create actually. Let me just sign out. It's kind of like important. Let's just see what happens. Then I sign out. If something happens or not. So yeah. So basically, this is a page of the portal, and I tried to change the company name. It's not that easy to do. So, and you need to, you cannot just do it in the editor. You have to go in depth into some coding to to make it happen. But it is kind of like internal system, internal portal, or maybe external portal. This is yeah, there's a pets. And tell me what you see in the list. Actually, let's just talk about this. Like, what do you see is happening here,
The
right?
first thing I notice is that after you sign out, you can still see this list. That
Yeah,
means
but
that
let's just look at the list. What do you see in the list? What's
I
in the data?
see.
Let me just make it bigger. Maybe people are gonna be crying and they watch the video and they don't understand how it's all kind of active records, but what is it?
I see a list of pets with
Yeah.
age and gender, and we're also showing owner and company, so they belong to a company or link to a company.
Yeah, I thought about like first it has some random company, but I think it could be Elena and Abby are working in a pet shop,
Mhm.
right? And we have some pets which we sell or just give for adoption. Um, yeah, you could tell from the records, right? It's a little bit strange that you cannot see it all. Let me just see if I can move it. So if you move it, you could see there's a multiple actually
Uh,
companies in here.
Pet store
And
next door.
yeah,
I love the name.
yeah,
Pet store.
it's there's Abby and Lana working in the same shop, and Steve Rogers is a
Works
guy
in a
next
different.
door works in a different store, and he's selling the female cat. So we kind of have this bunch of records in here. In in a real life portal, like they say, I want to log into my company portal, and in my database, like we have data about multiple companies, multiple you know, workers in there and pets from different stores, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, um, in this, yeah, talk.
Yeah, I think in real life this is kind of like in projects even though this is for pets for
Yeah,
most of the transaction data we would have something like this. We have individual people
yeah,
and there is a company or account and there's some
mm,
relation linking relationship with that, and on the portal we need to make sure that we expose the right data
yeah.
which is fundamental and sometimes more
Y-
challenging than we wish it is.
Yeah, I agree. So I want to talk about, yeah, this actually a good segue at then we started with the data and the topic is the security, right? And we cannot imagine our pages portal or website, whatever we call it, without security because it's kind of doesn't make much sense. We have database, we have multiple accounts in the database. They they accounts like organizations which use our portals, they are our clients, right? And each client may have multiple portal contacts working with the portal, right? So, and as you mentioned, we really need to make sure that data, like I only see my data, or we or I only see my data, or I am allowed to see my company data, right? So if you and me are working in the shops, there will be multiple scenarios, would be, could be, right? So you, depending on the requirements, you either allowed to see only your records, or as an administrator or someone who is looking after account, you should be able to see records which belong to the organization. right? So again, it's going to be a long conversation and it's a long start, but okay. So we want to play, like, remember we used to play with buttons, we used to do experiments. I want to experiment with security. It's safe because it's a proof of concept photo. I want to, before we move, we have this set of records. Before we move, I want to introduce our subscribers to a new concept. It's not new to you because we use it all the time. It's a way of testing how, like, we're mostly going to work today, talk about the read permission on the security. So we're going to be talking about reading data, not updating, not creating. Why it is interesting, because yeah, basically the way to describe this set of data, we can do it with a FetchXML, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
um I so the way I propose to, let's just go to the Design Studio from here,
Yeah.
right? This is the same page. This is a list, the
Mhm.
list of pets. And I have something which is already prepped. I just need to enable it. And you try to talk to me. It's again,
Yep.
it's all exploration of the
Yep.
behavior of the read
Mhm.
security
Mhm.
on
Yep.
the portal, how we read data. And I think I'm going to the wrong, no, I am going to the right place. So
Yep.
I even here, do you know how to make it, how to um, do it like
Uh,
this, right? So we can do it like
you
this.
can close the
And
component.
I know it's always opens it. So this is a fetch XML, and because you're trying to look closer, I guess that everyone is trying to do the same. So
That
the
helps.
fetch XML, it does
Yes.
not. The fetch XML we use to retrieve some data on the portal. But
Mhm.
what we know about fetch XML, like this is the liquid which Abby was talking about another day, and on inside it is a fetch which basically retrieves all that data which you see in the list, right?
Mhm. Mhm. And this fetch
Yeah,
it does not have any filter. Is that intended?
it meant to
It's
be
a
just a status.
okay. Yep.
It meant to be a status. It didn't happen to me. I don't have an active pets, so just
Which
let's
is fine.
just
So we
pretend
can. Mhm.
it's the same fetch which you
Mhm.
see on a screen. What we're gonna do, we're gonna comment these things, which basically will show us fetch on the page, and then we're going to show the count of records, and it's going to be like, I promise it's going to be not as boring as it is now. It's going to be quite fun to a
Mhm.
degree. Then we'll see how fun is fun. Control S, let's just save this, and let's just try to sync this. So we're going to ruin the page completely, but there's no intent to make it pretty. So it's syncing now because we need to sync.
Yep.
And we're going to have a pretty ruined page, but pretty and ruined. But let's just see. So I will show you in a second. You already noticed that I do have a security already, right? So there is
Yeah.
some kind of security already in place. Not the best one though. Oh, okay. So what happened? Because, okay, let's just do preview and I will show you what it is. So now in a so pretty page, we're gonna
Wow.
see unpretty, yeah, unpretty fetch. So
Yeah.
this fetch is something which describes, with the absence, Abby noticed, there is no filter on a status, which we
Which
have
is
in
good.
here
Yep.
active, but unfortunately, yeah. So if you
Yes.
count the records here, they were gonna be 7. So this is we have here, the fetch, right? So
Yep.
which describes these records. Um, these are all pet records in a database for any contacts and any accounts, regardless of you signed in or not signed in to the portal. Let's just have a look at the permission which describes this celebration. Okay, yeah,
Before
Abby talk, yeah,
before you going there,
yeah.
Olena, what is the how do you make this available to user who's not signed in? Do you
Okay, before
and
okay,
you're gonna get to there.
let's just get to the security. Okay,
Yes, tell us.
so how do you make it available for everyone? Which is unright, which is wrong. The definition of wrong. I have a bunch of security things for you here.
Yeah.
Let's just see. Let's just um the only okay. So I wish I could delete them. Instead, I'm in deactivating it. So let's have a look at the path global. It looks very promising, like global. Like the first thing which comes to mind is, let's see. So it has a create as well. I don't know, maybe because of a create button. And see for the Abby, speak to me. What do you see?
So the rows, these are web rows, right? You can define whether a table permission, what type of web rows that you be given it to. And out of box, you have administrators, anonymous, and authenticated. You can create your own custom web rows as well for
Yes.
your business logic. And here,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
it's not how we usually do transaction
Security.
records.
It's not how we usually do security. Let's move on.
Yes.
Let's try to remove anonymous
Uh-huh.
for the change, right? And to see what's gonna happen. And we save and we
What?
hope for the best or just think. Do we think or just hope that it's gonna magically work?
Think is safer.
Yeah, let's just do think. For our like friends who think we're doing unnecessarily move, we you can have a look at our exploration video. We still the cause undetermined. We don't know when to think. Look at this. What's changed? Everything changed, right?
Yep.
So
You don't have permission and you don't have the records, and it's still displaying what is the fetch is being executed. However, you don't get any results back.
yeah. So the total number of record is 0, and if I sign in, and I will, we hope the picture is changing for better. Oh, okay. So this is a profile which doesn't actually state who I work for, but I work for this pet shop group thing. Let's go to the homepage. Oh, okay. So yeah.
It's
So
back to 7.
yeah, it's back to
Oh,
7, which is
it's back
right.
to 7.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is because it's global, right? So we have a global read. So we see all the records regardless of everything, right?
Because the global permission is still there. We just removed the anonymous user access.
Yeah,
Okay, makes sense.
yeah.
Yes.
So it kind of prevents users who doesn't have login to the portal from seeing data, but it's not it's like a minor comfort because everyone still sees everything. I have another security permission for you, Abby. Let's just but you're gonna help me because I got lost in my own permissions. Let's just disable this one, deactivate,
Okay.
and let's have a look at another one. Now I want to look at this permission.
Add
Hello,
content.
hello, hello. Okay, so oh my
Ooh.
gosh. So yeah, this is the contact access now, Abby, and what are we saying in here?
What? There are 2 web rows. I
Yeah,
noticed the relationship is showing, which
yeah,
was not in the other one with
yeah.
global, and there's a access type being
Mm-hmm.
different. Do you mind? What are the
Um,
options on?
yeah, let's just have a look.
Have a look. Yeah.
And can we read it? Is it readable? Let's just control plus as good boys and girls to control plus, and it's somehow control plus. I'm gonna show us all the options. We already explored global access, which shows all rows to the table, the users in the selected, depending on the role, authenticated, non-authenticated. Now we're at the contact, which shows rows in the table associated to the sign-in user.
As
Associated
a contact.
how? Okay, so
Associate.
yeah, sorry,
Associated.
associated how? It's still inactive. Didn't we activate this? Let's just activate it for sake of everything. So associated via relationship, right? We have this field of owner, which is a lookup to a contact on the in the list, right? So what do you think, Abby, is gonna happen now? We save it and go. Wait, we didn't change anything. So can we go to the page back? Do we sync again? And everyone hates us because we did that.
Maybe.
Should we just not think and
Well,
see how what happened? Okay, so what do you think is gonna happen with the table and the fetch? Let's just
I'm
stick to the
hoping.
data.
Okay.
Yeah,
While
what's
it's
gonna happen?
loading, I
And not
hope.
loading yet.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
tell me.
hoping that well you logged in as Olena, and
Yeah.
it should only show you the records that
Mm.
with owner equals to Olena.
So Steve's and Abby's records are gonna disappear from the grid.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my
First.
gosh, something is
Ah.
happening. Okay. Okay. So
As
yeah,
expected. Wonderful.
you are right. It's getting better, right? So
Yes.
now if it was if it's my requirement to only see my own records, it's already happening. And there is no way it's happening like it is a security which is driven by logged in user. I will log out in a second, sign out, and we'll see. So it's only for records. Steve Rogers isn't here anymore, and Abby is not here anymore, even though we work in the same company, because I said I want to see records in in the context of contact in security. What happened to fetch?
Oh, the fetch is getting longer. There are extra things in there.
Yeah, I suspect there's a filter and there's some sort of condition. Do you think we need to make it bigger to see so people see it or not? Let's just see.
That would help. Yes, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's better. So we have this condition now on the owner, and it just added this layer of security into the actual query, right? This is how we think the read permission is working on the portal at the moment. Okay, so there's an additional condition, and the number of pets is 4, which is matches our table. Should we continue?
Yes, let's continue.
Let's.
And
Yeah.
do you mind scroll to the fetch a little bit?
Yeah. Talk to me.
So this is adding. Let's read this. This is adding a filter with the condition that owner equals to the value, and I assume the GUID will be your
Yeah.
current logged in user
Yeah.
ID.
Well. Yeah, this is what
Perfect.
I think was happening. Now I am excited to get the records for AB back. How do I do this? We work in the same
And we
company.
work in the same company. Okay.
Let's just see. I'm manipulating those permissions. Let me just close this. And I hope, let me just make this inactive because I want it clean, as clean as possible. Let me deactivate the previous permission and activate the next one. So the next thing I want to explore, and it's still kind of staying on this level, but it gets really insane further. But let's just move one by one. I may just need a support of Bentpool support. Okay, so pet account on a pet table with account access AB, which shows rows in a table associated to the signed user's account details. Table associated to the sign, associated how? Associated by this, right? So on the pet, we have company, right? We have this relationship on the company. And the permission is read and the roles are, we haven't done one more thing. Let's just quickly do one more thing and we'll get back to this. I already deactivated the permission. Too bad. I wanted to show you that if I'm not authenticated, I will show on this permission. If I'm not authenticated, I'm not able to see it. Okay, we didn't change anything.
Yes.
Okay, sync. No, sync. We didn't sync last time, didn't we? Or did we sync? Oh God. Anyways.
Remember.
Abracadabra. What's gonna happen next? We're still following the rules or not?
There
I
you
think
go.
is it? Are you
6.
sure it's okay. Something changed in the fetch. Here is a condition.
Is the company equals to that?
Yeah. So it adds a new condition and
I can see both of
super
us.
magic happens because Abby and Olena work in the same company. I said this is a company level permission, right? So I think it's getting closer to the actual production implementation because like we work together in the same shop. We should be able to see, our company pets, right? And work with pets, even
Both
though
of our records.
you assigned to patient cat, which is brownie cat,
Yes.
and I have a bunch of other cats and dogs. Yeah. So this is quite working security. Let's just test this. I don't know what's it's happening because it's too big.
If you
Let me
sign out,
sign
what will
out.
happen?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it should be it's a clean test of the security. Which I try to visualize because it's really not super easy to understand what's happening. And I want to take a moment. See?
The way you set it up, it helps. It really helps to understand. Oh, pet can't. So it's not
Yeah,
no
name.
permission for unauthenticated users.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We usually don't show this helpful message. We probably would show something like unauthenticated user layout, something pretty pictures, static information about something or how you register for the portal, something like this. Wouldn't be that ugly, but the concept is the same, right? Because we are not signing in, nothing is happening. This fetch is a very important testing concept for us. Sometimes we have queries and they work like we constructed with our favorite, for example, FetchXML builder. And they actually, in the FetchXML builder, we can retrieve records, right? But then we go and implement something on the portal and there are no records retrieved or something. So we need to triage and figure out what's going on. So this helps because in this case, the security get applied on top, like we've seen with conditions. Abby, are we trying to continue? Or it's gonna be difficult now.
You explained to me one time you used the word context filter,
Yeah.
which I think it helps a lot in explaining that. So there's a fetch we put into the code may not be the fetch that get
Yeah.
executed. Could be additional filters add on
Yeah.
top of it from the table permission.
This is true. And you mentioned the context, which means another thing to me. I want to go back. I want to go 2 steps back before I introduce you to something else.
Okay.
It is a very big screen, big, and it thinks it's mobile. Um, we have everything set for us. It's awesome. Um, before okay, so I set up more things for us. Let me make it a little bit smaller so we can see.
I have a
You have a
question.
yeah.
I have a question, Olena. For the access, for the account access, how does the account link to the contact? Is it which relationship or how
For the
out of box? How does
you bring in for out of the box we can only have contact link to one account, and it will be a customer field. That's my understanding, right? Or let's just have a look at this. This is an account field,
so
and this
by the
is
account field? Yeah.
yeah. Let's just do more exploration and
By the
in a
account.
logical
Yes.
logical name will be parent
Parent.
custom ID.
By parent custom ID.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is how I think it actually linked. In fact, it is how it linked. I wanted to, because this 2 more permissions, and then I want to enable it all, and HAL is gonna come our way, because if everything
Oh,
is enabled, and I know it's not clear what we're doing here, but I wanted to show you something which I've noticed, and I wanted to discuss with you, and we just use a YouTube channel just to converse as a conversation between two of us, because we like talking about some technical
permissions.
stuff.
Yes.
Permissions. Oh my
Security.
gosh, we like talking about
Most
permission. It
discussed
sounds
topic.
really wrong. It sounds really wrong. We deactivate this permission and activate the global back. I wanted to show you something which I discovered,
I
and
have.
it. Give me one sec, and it is actually linked to the concept of context which you mentioned. Let's just have a look at this. We returned the global permission, right? Okay,
No
so we now have
filters.
set no filters. I signed in, signed out, doesn't matter. I still signed in, and I do have accounts in here, which are technically they are my accounts. It's only my account which I link to the pet shop. It's my account. I can show you permission later for this. And if I will try to go and edit it on a form, on the account form, you will see all the pets which are related to the account. And
That's the
yeah, what I wanted to
fixed.
tell you, Abby, here and to everyone else, even though we have no security whatsoever and everything is global, there is a context here, right? Because on the form, we have this grid, and this list only displays ads which are associated to their account. It is an interesting thing. There is no security, but it's still some kind of like a context. We cannot call
Filter.
it security. The filter applied on the other verse level, where we constructed the form, we said that this grid needs to, if we change the setting saying do not show related records, it may show everything. But because we put this context in there saying show only related records, and they are related through the company, right? Then this kind of like it mimicking security, but it's not a real security, because still, if I sign out, everyone can still see it. Not really, actually. Okay, that's an interesting part of it.
So you're
uh,
saying even
I'm not
though
I'm not saying if I sign out, you will not be able to. I have a security on the account record level, so you will not be able to get to the form. However, if you have access to Web API,
yeah, true.
yeah, you want to talk about the Web API. So this is our yeah, this whole topic is a little bit chaotic, and I don't know if we're gonna ever release the recording, but this is a very interesting conversation. Let's just sign out. Let's just make it clean. Now we'll go back to our favorite permissions. Let's sign out and try to get to this page. I don't think we will be able to. Definitely not. So is it a security? Is it a real security? You do not have permission to use view these records. Let's say we don't expose this grid on a home page. Oh, come on. You cannot be like this. They cannot be like this. What's going on? We
We remove
deleted the
the
security.
anonymous user. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Should we retrieve the anonymous user and see how it works?
Yeah. Do you
On a global?
add, yeah,
Let's just
add it
quickly
back?
add and see. I really hope it's going to refresh everything because this is getting interesting. Even I am not sure. I think, I suspect, because we have a permission on the account grid, we do have account access, you could see, right?
And it's
On account
authenticating
and
users.
yeah. So I do suspect we have some sort of security in here. Let's just refresh. What I'm trying to say, hello, now it needs to sync. It needs a good sync. It looks like. Should we?
Yes, let's sync.
Did we sorry, did we scroll? I activated the global. I added right, let's just do sync. I feel like it's caching a bit at the moment. So let's just see. And I even closed this and tried to do preview from here. We'll see what happens, if it works or not. 7. Okay, let's just talk. The stuff gets very serious here, right? So can we scrap everything on home page and use just a bit this security, which is on the accounts? So I don't have access to the accounts. Is it good enough? Like if I don't expose it like this, I have a read permission on this, and they only work with the context.
That's a good question. To me, unless you can guarantee you like it's a big risk. It can be a risk, right? If we have hats being on global and we need to make sure it's not exposed anywhere, which if we are sure like the portal only has the accounts page and we are in control and keep
And we don't
reviewing
have
all
a
the
web API, and we don't expose data in any other way, right? So it's some kind of security. It still feels like it's never enough. Never enough.
It is some security, but I don't know. You kind of need to keep reviewing the whole site that you are not exposing that by
in
page.
any other yeah, so if we screw up with the context here, right, and if we put the grid which actually technically displays all the paths instead of displaying the related paths, then we still expose data. So it's kind of like, but if we didn't set security in a proper way, then we're still going to expose data. So it's just an interesting highlight of the security. So we secured on account level, then they put this form grid in a context of the account, and it worked as what, Abby? It did work as something which I set up as a next level for us. It works as a child's permission, right? It mimicked a child permission, which is really, it is not, and there is no child permission in there. It's just global. Let's just get rid of global again, and let's try a couple of more things that deactivate. If you're not tired of security yet. Okay, we do have account and contact. Let's just keep playing with account, right? So let's just enable this. It's not going to change anything, is it? Is it going to change anything, you think, Abby?
If you put the count back on this page, I don't expect change. However, on that page, the other page, you're exposing paths directly. I expect the list to be different.
Let's just see. Yeah, that is correct. Not like I was testing you. It is a little bit, everything is a little bit blurry. Okay, let's just,
the way you set it up explains this really well. I think
whoa. Here we are under some kind of pressure. Okay, so now our global list, which we just exposed, and we put the security, child security in the context of account, only shows. We exclude Steve because Steve belongs to a different account. Our fetch, on the other hand, is much more complex than the previous one. That the one which we only exposed, we only had permission for the account hat. It is much more complex, and we have these links here, right? So now because we have
is this a different one?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
This is a
which
child permission
okay.
here on the account for contact. We have account in the contact access. We have account for the contact. We have my organization and then child permission on the pets, right? So
Mhm.
it adds this nonsense in the major thing and it filters it out. But as you mentioned, it's probably not going to change a lot in the way the actual account form. I think we lost everyone. If we ever release this, people are going to be super lost. But this is still sixth. We still have so this thing. It doesn't make
What is the
a major.
difference with this one and the account access?
So the it's a very good question. We let's just disable this because they like it's an open experiment. Let's just disable this, deactivate, and just get the back thingy. This one, right? Pet account. This one. Do you expect what do we expect to happen here?
I don't know what I'm expecting.
um okay. So I promise we're probably not going to go to the contact form because
Yeah.
it's going to be even we enable everything and we see what happens to poor fetch and then we explain why it's important and we're going to wrap it up because as much as it's fun, it's still a complex topic. We just wanted to
Yeah.
give a little bit of the yeah, okay. So it looks much simpler as we
It does
mentioned.
not have
It
the
just
linked entity.
doesn't have link and as I promised we will tell you briefly why links are important and why we want this thing as simple as possible in a second. But let's just go and see what happens to accounts. It's still we have access obviously, right? But because we have access to the account in here on this level, right? We do have it and we do have it in here. So on the contact and on account and then we go here, still see records. So in terms of child permissions, in terms of child permissions, in the context of the account, Abby, can we survive with no child permissions with the context which we specify on a Dataverse form level where we only display, well, we say only display related records. And yeah, it's here is also clean, right? So it's only one condition and it's a very simple fetch. So, okay.
Um, when you say can we survive with the child permission, you mean
Without child
without the child
permission. Yeah.
permission? Without defining any child permission?
In this context, like we go to the account, there is no
If
child permission applied to this in this particular for
if
pets.
we don't have any pets table permission, I would expect this grid to not show anything or with a message. Is that
No, we do have, it's not happening. We
oh
only have permission, we only have pet to account permission, right? Which is this one and pet account, which looks like this, and it's enough.
pet
And
account?
and our I know we normally would, and it's again it came in the exploration, it came to the surprise as a surprise to me as well. I think it's a valid form of security because it does do the job. If we have to go to the contact level, will be a different conversation. But let's talk about fetch for 2 more minutes and let's wrap it up. For the fetch, right? This is how security works for read at the moment, and I know that it's we hope that it will be improved because the bigger this fetch is, the performance is suffering. So
Yeah,
if the heavier this fetch, those links we discussed, they appear not only on the child permissions, but they appear if we have to specify like all the nested
linking
the
the
linking like a
process.
security. So there is a limit for those links. Let's just get back links so you understand
Mhm.
what I'm talking
That is
about.
the suffering
Yeah,
we had.
it is kind of a suffering sort of thing. Let's just the last thing. Let's enable everything. Let's just enable everything, because we will show you what is happening. Then you have, let's say, multiple security roles with all sort of different permissions, and it will be easy to understand why we need it as clean as possible, and why this whole discussion. Let's not do global, because global overrides everything. Because global is global and the rest is just not applicable. Actually, we need to show you this as well.
When there's
yeah. Let's
do
just
that
see.
last.
Let's do it as a last thing. And again, I have no idea whoever is gonna watch the video how you feel about this. See what
Wow, look
happens.
at that. Okay.
See what
There is
happens.
a filter type equals to or. So all of the permission are applied and they are and under a condition, under a
Yeah,
type with or. So
yeah.
I'm
The thing is, we may not need child permission on this page at all, and the web role may not be applicable in this. Like, if we have multiple web roles with multiple permissions towards pad, in this case, we will have multiple links in here. And the limit, we have 3 here, and we haven't done much of a coding or much of the configuration here. It's a very simple site. We already have 3 links. What's the limit, Abby? What is the limit till it
Fetch
breaks?
XML has a limit of 15.
We
And
have a limit of 15. In our case, it's only linked to the account and contact. But what if it has to be linked to something else? What if we want to link it to a group, or we want to link it to a product, and we wanted to link it to the adoption team or something like that? So the numbers of links, it's pretty easy to exceed these numbers of links. The other aspect is the performance. The heavier this fetch is, the the more problematic performance it gets, right? So the performance, the site will suffer and it will take time to load.
yeah.
Um,
And
yeah,
actually for the common entities, like let's say there's a task that can be linked to multiple different transaction table and they link to
or emails or
or
documents,
emails or
locations, how
documents.
we
Yes.
explored
Yeah.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
We have a case where we work with documents across multiple applications for the client, and yeah, we did exceed and broke a fetch, right? So then the fetch get broken. This grid gets broken as well, right? So then you exceed the limit. Your grids, the tables, all the
You
pad
see,
tables will be broken. We don't want to scare you, but it's really scary. So what's the cure? The multiple things. I know that Microsoft is improving, working on lots of improvements to the portal. And this is a very old way of doing things. This, I think, is a regional portal potentially, or the online portal was set up. And it is a great model, but it's not very scalable, maybe, right?
for enterprise
So for
level
enterprise
portal.
specifically. So we are waiting for the improvements. And while we're waiting for the improvements, I don't know, there are tips and tricks on how to resolve. We're not ready to share it with you yet. We may just discuss if we want to talk about this, or just comment on the video if it's ever going to go live. Comment on the video if
Yes.
you want tips and tricks on how to resolve. If you ever had this heavy monstrous fetch and you reach the limit, or you're scared of hitting the limit, I'll put in the comments help. So,
Yeah.
and we will think
We
about
wouldn't
them.
be the first one encountering this. Let us know.
Let us know.
Yes.
And if you solve it yourself, tell us. But the last thing which I really want to tell you, first of all, let's just cure it in a rubbish way. The rubbish way to cure is to do this, right? When we enable a global permission, let's have a look what happens. Oh, it's
That's
it requires a
thinking.
bit of thinking because
I love you.
it's a lost test. It is a lost test. Let's have a look, because it's really it is as complex as it's cool. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
when
clean,
there is a
Abby.
global, there's there's no need to do any
Yeah,
filter.
regardless of whatever we set up on other security roles, it just clears everything. And obviously, this is a fix, but it's a lousy fix because you compromise your security. And no matter what you're gonna try to apply patches to hide records or filtering or anything you're going to do, in this case, it's still a compromised security. You cannot just expose and do a global read. It
Especially if
needs,
there's
yeah,
portal web API on the turn on the
yeah,
table. that would be.
We're showing you a trick with accounts, which if you don't expose this still is going to be somehow acceptable because you only have permission here on account. And if you go inside, you still have this filtered and it pretends to be a security. It's not our tip, so don't get encouraged.
This is not how we do fix.
Yeah,
Not our fix. It's an
yeah.
option, but it's not a security option.
But this is a conversation we wanted to have with you for a very long time, and let us
Yes.
know what do you think. And I think we should wrap it up for now.
Thank you so much, and thanks, Olena, for walking us through how the security works and with the sample. It really helps. I think security is one of the things doesn't get much attention. However,
Oh
it's
yeah,
so fundamental, and
for no
it's
good reason, right? This is the only thing which needs our the attention from outside. You have to be careful with global permissions and web API, and particular with when you have web API enabled, be careful because there is another topic I wanted to discuss with you. Maybe we will record another video, and I wanted to talk to you about that case as well. It's a very interesting case. We recently came across it. Was one of our customers. But yeah,
Awesome.
thanks for watching us
Thanks
and
for watching.
subscribe.
Comment and subscribe. Thank you. See you next
Thanks.
time.